Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Everybody
everybody.
who may eventually tune in.
And what I was gonna say, right? Like, hello to the. Well, it's funny because it's like everyone is here tuned in, but like they're also in
That's
the
right.
illusion of not. So that's kind of funny, but so yeah, like Julie said, hi everyone who's eventually maybe going to tune in. So how are you, Julie? Even though I know that that's like
I'm
what kind of
doing
question.
well.
Good.
How are you doing?
Um, a bit of a loaded question at the moment, as you know. So I was guided, Julie knows this, I was guided to just be honest. I've been cranky at spirit, God, whatever you want to label it this morning because of various reasons I won't get into right now. So I'm I can feel like tell that I've like pulled up a little bit in the like past couple minutes, which I'm sure you can tell too, Julie. Like I'm not
Mhm.
like I'm actually smiling right now. So I'm better than what I was, but if I get too thinky, I'm not gonna be happy. So I'm gonna try not to get too thinky.
If I get too thinky, I'm not going to be happy. I like that.
Thank you. It's that is definitely something that I mean, I'm a more resistant to admitting it right now, but it is something that I
Mhm.
have learned, especially when I'm in a good head and heart space after doing the work that I'm doing. I can feel like I need to keep on my mind like right here because if I move it this way, this way, this way, like in any direction,
Yeah.
it's not going to go well. So it just I have to keep it still, but then of course embrace it if it does move, and then do my work on it to let it go if it doesn't. So yeah, but
I think
anyway.
we're all learning that focus together and this feeling of reaching out just by the act of pressing that live button. It looks like there's somebody here with us. So hello.
Hello, yes, I
That
did notice
feeling
that.
of reaching out, you know, I think that helps us. It helps us attune to what is exactly the same in all of us. Maybe it helps us align with that, just that feeling of reaching out.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was just a little distracted because I'm like really hot
That's
right now,
okay.
and so, sorry. Would you mind just repeating again, kind of, or even
Oh,
like just
yeah.
like sum up what you just
Just,
said?
yeah, the idea of when you hit the live button, you have this feeling of reaching out to others. And I think that naturally helps us connect and attune to what is the same and beautiful in us all. What is that goodness without opposite in us all? So sometimes we can be, you know, I can be turned inward, but just some act of reaching out just snaps me into alignment. Oh, this is what we all are together, and it's beautiful.
I get that. There's it's interesting you saying that because there's a level where when I step outside of my bubble, hi Haran, how are you?
Hello.
Yay, you're here. um, um, what's good? What's good is everything technically, I guess. But yeah, there it's interesting because there's a level where if I'm in the illusion of stepping outside of my bubble, like physically when I go like out into the world,
Hmm.
it can be harder for me. I mean, this is all illusion and whatnot, but it can be um but it can be harder for me to anchor on to what is real because I can be in the illusion of like what the world is like and it can come at me. But then with YouTube, it's like you said, with going live on YouTube, it's a whole other like, even when I'm not in a good space, which I didn't even think of before until now that you're bringing this up. I didn't even think of this before when we were talking before going live. There is, if I'm not in a good space and I make myself go live, even if I don't want to,
Hmm.
um, it I end up feeling better afterwards. I even start to feel better once it starts. And I think, like you said, I like in different kind of a different language in what you said. It's like it helps me. I'll get to your I'll acknowledge your what you're asking and saying in a second there, Haran. Um, but it's I think it's kind of like what you were saying, just in a different language. It helps me get out of my own head. But like what I mean by my own head is like my ego mind because I'm not so focused inward on the illusion level because there's something said about focusing inward within truth, but it this like that's focusing inward on my ego and not feeling good. And so going live
Hmm.
pulls me out of that, especially when I get people like, because then I'm like, if especially if I'm not live with you, like either way we're talking about truth, but even if I'm not live with somebody, it's just me talking, I'm still talking about what's real versus what's not real. which pulls me up. But then there's that interaction as well with our quote unquote others, which is also that reflection of the connection that we are too, which then you can
Hmm.
spin into this is why social media, like people look at social media and AI as such a bad, scary thing, but really it's just a reflection of the oneness and the connection that we actually are. And it's just how we put the intention into it and utilize it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You said it very well.
Thank you.
And here we are with Haran.
And here we are with Lauren. Yeah. So
Who
are
has
you able to see the
questions?
comments? Can you see the comments too, Julie, or no?
Yeah, I can see him.
Okay, perfect. So so Har and there is going together. So just in case, like if other people are not reading it or whatever. So so what calls for this momentous occasion? Um so Haran wants to ask for an analysis of metaphors that he's navigating, if that's okay, and that he's honored to be here. Well, we are honored that you are here. Um
Hmm.
and yes,
Happy
I've
to be here with you.
right, exactly. And I'm assuming you'd be okay with that, Julie, him asking that?
Of course. Yeah,
Okay.
anything.
Okay, sounds good. And then what calls for this momentous occasion? I've been having like the pull to go live with Julie for like what, at least a year now. And it
Hmm.
just hasn't been the right space, but for some reason it's just worked out that, you know, so yeah, if you want to ask Karen, go ahead. And in the meantime, yeah, Julie, so what were you kind of wanting to? I know we've been kind of talking a little bit here, but like I know I'm playing with my hair a lot. What were
You're
you
loud.
Thank you. I think it's nervous playing. I know it is. Plus, I'm hot and the air and whatnot. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Like, so what were you? Oh, so Haran here. Before we get into that, we'll just see
Hmm.
what Haran's saying. So Haran's saying he's struggling with not being triggered whenever he speaks too fast and someone asks him to repeat himself. That's kind of it's interesting because what is the meaning behind spoken language breaking down? It's funny a little bit
Hmm.
because it's not exactly parallel, but I know you know, Julie, it's been surfaced for me lately where it's like I talk too much and I'm too much with talking. And with that, I have had people also say that I talk too fast and I need to slow down, especially if I'm going to be doing the work that I'm doing like this.
Hmm.
So there's a bit of a synchronicity there with that. I do know the meaning behind spoken language being breaking down is because it's not needed. But that's just simply what I mean. And Julie, I'm going to shut up in a second for you to respond to, and you can tell me if it resonates or not. With that being said, I do know spoken language is not needed. The real, even with the actual communication that we are and have. I've experienced it. It was for a split second, but I know I'm can bring it online and it's part of what we are. But with talking with you, Julie, you know this. We were talking on the phone the one time and it was just it for us for just a split second. It was in a space where I didn't need Julie or anyone in the world to say anything to me because I knew everything. There was no need for any back and forth exchange or communication because I just knew, and we just got to be in the love that we are together. And I don't, again, understand how it works and all that stuff. And especially with the fact that we are one and we're not these characters, we're not separate souls. But so that's the whole thing about spoken language breaking down is it's just a pretend tool. It's useful and we can play with it if we want, but it's lessons and it's not needed. So, and then of course, we get the resistance to that, which is different forms of like people saying we talk too much or talk too fast or doing this or doing that, which we can get into it. Well, I'm going to shut up now and I'll let you say your response and maybe I feel like you're kind of maybe going to maybe address more of the metaphorical stuff, like more than what I might be able to. So I'm going to shut up now.
I I would say the trigger is the blessing, and I like to hone down to that point, hone in on it, I guess. Um, so if somebody, I'm trying to remember what it is. Oh, okay. I speak too fast. Someone asks me to repeat myself. So that seems to be the trigger. So if you take yourself to that moment and you can identify the specific feeling, I find that to be helpful, whatever the feeling is. When that seems to happen, this is the feeling I feel. And then to acknowledge, okay, my feelings are caused by belief and thought. So when I was in that situation and I felt that feeling, it was caused by a thought I believe. and that thought came from ego. So then we go on a treasure hunt, you know, feeling this way, however I felt in this situation. I only have to find one thought I believe, because one thought is symbol for all of the rest of them. So, what is that? When I felt that feeling, what is one sentence, one specific thought that I believed? And I'm just taking it. See, it's a tad hard to contain myself when I encounter such situations. We all understand. I
Yeah.
end up feeling that there's no point in me speaking because it's too much of a hassle to repeat too many damn times. Yes, we understand.
Yeah.
So if you hone in on, okay, I experienced a feeling, there is a thought attached to that feeling. I can, in the form of one sentence. And so if you want to find it and type it in there, go ahead and we'll do a process on that. If you don't, that's fine. I'll just describe it. So once you find it, you can just set it down on the sidewalk, this sentence. And I've been thinking of these sentences that I find, thoughts that ego sends me. They're a life sentence that I impose on myself. Like, I had the thought I shouldn't have to be doing this the other day. Well, I shouldn't have to be doing this, being in a situation where I was doing something and believing that I shouldn't have to be doing it is a life sentence I impose upon myself when I believe it. And then I'll keep experiencing it and keep experiencing it. And it's also a death sentence because a life as a body and a character and a personality that's full of irritants and full of unfairness, and that ends in the death of the body because you believe you're the body. Every time I believe in ego thought, I'm believing in this whole matrix that supports the identity that I'm a separate personality body combo, and I'm going to be irritated literally to death. So it's a life sentence that I impose upon my experience here, and it's also a death sentence. So if we can look at all the thoughts the ego sends us and see them in these terms, it can be very liberating. And then Haran says, I feel annoyed because it feels like the other person is not putting enough effort, and they would understand me just fine if I swore or sent lottery numbers. So there's a thought. The other person is not putting in enough effort. And so if I take that, let's say I believe that thought, and I set it down on the sidewalk, and then I reorient towards something, I like to reorient towards something that feels deeply truthful and helpful. And to me, those are the lessons in the Course in Miracles. So today, many, many times today, I'm reorienting toward um, my attack thoughts are attacking my own invulnerability. So when I believe the other person is not putting in enough effort, I'm actually attacking myself. I'm attacking the fact that as a being, not as a person character, as a being, I'm invulnerable and I can't be harmed and I can't be hurt and I can't harm or hurt. Not as a being, I can't. As a character, I can give myself all of these experiences of being harmed and being hurt and harming and hurting, but I'm giving them all to me. So it's a moment of honesty when I reorient toward my attack thoughts, the thoughts the ego sends me that I believe are attacking my invulnerability. So in this moment, I can let my invulnerability step forward and take charge of the situation that I'm in or the next one you're going to be in. And in my experience, I don't know how I'm going to react to people if they ask me to slow down. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I had this point of reorientation, and that point of reorientation is going to handle everything that comes from there. So I didn't figure anything out. I didn't give any up or down meaning or value to anything in this illusion I'm making. I'm not trying to find my stability in the illusion. I'm finding my stability in the invulnerability I am and always will be as a being, and the invulnerability I share with you and with everything and with everyone. I'm finding my stability. I'm rooting myself and I'm saying, I give permission for everything to come from this point. And I just reorient toward that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's how I roll. That's what seems to work for me. What do you think, Tally?
It's I know that this stuff is true. I can be resistant to it.
Hmm.
Because and we got another question here which I'll get to in a second. With that being said, these are things that you're even repeating with what we talked about before we kind of came live, which is, it was different, a bit of a different language, but essentially the same message. Because I won't get into detail, not make it a big thing, but just to kind of explain what I'm talking about, because there is a
Hmm.
synchronicity with what Julie's talking about here, which is like right before we got on the phone, we talked for about I like got live. We talked for about an hour on the phone and about how like I'm in this space where I'm choosing to believe that. See, and now I just said I'm choosing to believe, whereas before I'm like they're doing this to me. I was in that space of like, even though I know the truth is I'm part of it
About
and
it.
I'm making it up, right? But I was still in that space of anchoring onto spirit like gave me all this guidance and then just basically fucked me over 3 times in a row. And like, like I went into this whole attack thing, even though I know that stuff's not actually true. So I do know, but like with that being said, things didn't start to change, like really start to change permanently, quote unquote, for the better. Like there's no better or worse, but like with more of what's real to come through and take over and like more of this peace and things being brought to me and just more of the peace that I've never had this level of peace with inside myself. And I am a lot more calm when it comes to certain situations compared to what I would have been several years ago. Like like there are things that are just not affecting me in that quote unquote negative way the way they used to. So absolutely it does. It takes like I read a post somewhere on that the other day about someone essentially kind of talking about how the law of attraction comes down to how we change what we think in the brain neuroplasticity, and they take 15 minutes every day to do this work. And, that's great. With that being said, there is that level too of it doesn't have to do with the brain neuroplasticity because the brain is also an imagined like it's part of the body, which the body is imagined. However, they're correct in saying it has to do with the thoughts and the feelings that we're choosing to believe in. And it does take that while we're playing with the illusion of it needs that for repetitive work, it does take that repetitive work, and this is Eric kicking in like that. I can't do this. This is Eric 1000%. So there's some physical confirmation kicking in here. Because I don't like rubbing my hands together. I'm in the illusion of it doesn't feel. So when I start doing this, that's Eric kicking in. Um, but then also we don't need to do it for 15 minutes a day. Like even if if you can, or if you can do it every time one of these thoughts and feelings arise, absolutely do it. But if you can only do it for 1 second a day, that does something. Like Julie, you tell me all the time, like even just 1 second does something, so even if you can do just 1 second a day. But yeah, it's that repeat, and you do eventually see it reflect the change reflect in your external. So yeah, absolutely. I resonate with that. And then I just wanted to, so we have 26, I don't know if it's supposed to be Timothy or Timoth, but I'm seeing 26 Timoth saying here, what about when people get irritated when you have them repeat themselves because you don't physically hear well? Sometimes they'll say things like you don't listen. Um,
Mm.
so I'm gonna say something and then I'll let you also respond because again I feel like you're gonna have even a better answer than me. I'm in the illusion that Julie's more advanced than I am, even though I know we're all one. But yeah. So with that, there is that level of kind of like what Julie was talking about before, like there's that trigger moment, right? So it's a blessing because we're seeing someone come at us saying that we're doing something wrong. And if we're not feeling good about it, then there's that opportunity to go within and do that mental cleanup to let that belief go. But then also, while playing with while blah, 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 words
Blah, 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 blah.
right? While we're playing with the illusion, there's someone said it's okay to utilize boundaries and explain things, and it's okay, like, and do it in the level that you're comfortable with, but it's okay to step up and say, listen, I have trouble hearing and I'm, I if you can repeat yourself, that would be helpful and whatnot. Like it is okay. Like we are to embrace where we're playing at, it's just important to anchor onto what is actually true, which is the fact that we are making it all up. Everything external is a projected, because there is no external, so projected hologram that's like reflecting metaphors. It's all different metaphors, different forms of metaphors of things that we're clinging to within ourselves. So yes, like utilize the boundaries, utilize the communication, like let them know that you're struggling to hear, especially like we're in an illusion of the world. does have limitations for people who are like hard of hearing or in wheelchairs or whatever. Like, we are playing with these illusions, so it's okay to like teach people on that illusion human level, but then it's also important to zoom out and anchor onto what this actually is, because that's how, like, I'm not saying I understand how like reality works, as in how we're all one and we're not these characters, yet we don't feel alone and we can feel how everyone's there. I don't understand that. And I don't understand how we're home and we're not actually doing this. I don't understand how that, like, the operation of how that works. What I do understand now, though, is how the illusion works and how the illusion operates. And so to control your reality, you have to let go of the ego control and let go of the ego beliefs and thoughts and feelings, and allow the truth thoughts, not truth, the truth thoughts, feelings, and beliefs to shine through. And then that does eventually change on the external. And you do eventually see more and more of that place where people are seeing and hearing and understanding, and there is more of that easier natural flow and more of that open communication, however, whatever form that looks. So, but like I said, I feel like Julie's going to be able to give a probably better answer than what than what I did. So yeah. And oh, hi Billy, nice to see you. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you guys all for joining. We're all honored that you're here. Sorry, go ahead.
I wouldn't say better because all things work together for good,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I meant, better, because
But
it's not
yeah.
better, but it's just another way of saying it, not the illusion of struggle, but the illusion of ease, like the more truth of ease rather than the illusion of struggle, the goodness without the opposition. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So I'm always going to hone in on the feeling. So there was irritation, and you asked somebody to repeat themselves, and they said, I'm trying to think. They say you don't maybe they said you don't listen well. Okay, so maybe you believe the thought then, because the important thing is to find I felt irritation, and it wasn't caused by somebody saying that I don't listen well. It was caused by an ego thought that I believe. Maybe the ego thought is about them. They shouldn't talk to me that way. Maybe it's that. Maybe the ego thought is I don't listen well. Sometimes when I'm trying to figure out what did I believe, it's that. Like it's the thing that somebody said to me. So it could go either way. Let's pretend it's that, or you could tell us what the thought is if you find it. But let's pretend it's they shouldn't speak to me that way. I've certainly worked with that thought enough times. I have to remember my feeling is always self caused. It's because I believed a thought from ego. Here's this illusion going on around me, and ego will come in and interpret it. Really, this illusion going on around me is meaningless. Don't get scared because it's not positive or negative. But the true meaningfulness of everything is the same. Thank goodness. This is where all the relief is. Goodness without opposite is equally present within everyone and everything all the time. And it never ends. It never ends. It never ends. And so when I say reorient, that's what we keep reorienting toward. The truth of all of us. So here appears to be this person, but behind the person is a being that is only goodness without opposite. But let's say the ego thought I'm believing is they shouldn't say things like that. Well, I got to put that down on the sidewalk temporarily because it caused irritation and I don't want to keep going through that cycle. And then I'll remember my attack thoughts, which are any thoughts from the ego that evaluate the illusion positively or negatively, are attacking my invulnerability. My invulnerability I share with all beings and all things forever. That's the truth of all of us behind the circus we keep seeing in repetitive forms. So, my invulnerability, that's what I've refocused toward. And if I'm focused toward my invulnerability, the fact that as a being, not forget the character person, as a being, I can't be harmed and I can't harm ever. I'm an eternal being. I'm not a body. I've never been harmed. I can't harm. And the same is true of all beings forever. Oh my gosh, look what I've reoriented away from a shred of the circus I've been making and experiencing. And then look what I reoriented toward. Excuse me, the truth of all of us. That makes me joyful. So over and over and over again, I just keep reorienting toward the truth of us. And I took a long time to say it, but it can happen very quickly as you practice it. And then your day gets set by the reorientation, what you're reorienting toward. And from my perspective, I don't decide what I want to happen or what should happen unless I'm believing ego thoughts, because they do that all the time. I just stay open to what is this day supposed to be. We're all here to let our minds, or actually the one mind we share, to heal. And our life experiences help us into those situations where we can allow this healing. And that is what a day is for. So we keep running into these experiences over and over again where we can allow healing, allow healing, allow healing.
And that's
Anything, Callie?
and it it's I was getting like another an even a deeper click into when you were talking with, and I can't remember exactly what you said, but there was something that you said that gave me that click in, which I've had before and we know, but just the whole aspect of these things about like people thinking that we talk too fast or talk too much or that they can't hear us or whatever, or that we can't hear them, anything like that. It's all reflections of where we're clinging to the illusion that we're separate and that we can't hear each other and that we're these separate minds, and it just helps with the illusion. It's just another really helpful tool for us to play with the illusion of separation, and that's all that it really is, like we're like as it like, so we have these ego lie beliefs like Julie was just talking about, and then we cling to them and then we let it play out, and and whatnot. But it's all to help us play with the illusion of separation, and the goal is to remember that we're not separated and allow that through. But that's, again, it's all metaphors, and like these are like that goes into like when we look at all of our ego lie beliefs that we're clinging to, it all stems from those deep, deep, deep illusion beliefs of I separated from God, I'm not God, that I've done wrong, that I'm going to get punished, like those, like, and then it bursts out, not real, but in the illusion of it bursts out in all these different medical healing, medical, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? That's
Yeah, it
funny. That
can.
I didn't even mean to do that. It bursts out in all of these different metaphorical forms of attack, loss, grief, upset, anxiety, like all, like even the different characters. And again, it's not bad. It's just it's helpful, and we're looking at it as helpful and playful. It does just bring that illusion of opposition and those drop downs, which I don't want to play with anymore because I'm in the illusion of it doesn't feel good because it is. And then also there is also just that kind of side note reminder too. And then it's funny because I've got my book here that I just getting prompted to share in a second, but there's that side note reminder too when Julie's talking about healing, and like I know Julie like knows this. I'm not like saying anything she doesn't know. In fact, she reminds me of this. Just to clarify for anyone watching, we're in the illusion of healing, but in truth there is no healing that's ever being done because we're whole, holy, and perfect. We're not doing this. No one's ever been hurt. There's no dirty energy, there's no negative energy, like there's no pain, there's no loss, like, so in truth there's no healing. However, while we're playing with the illusion of that we've been hurt and that we've been separate and that we've been hurting each other and that we're separate from God, the healing is the remembrance of what we actually are. And then in the layers of illusion, healing each other through like actions of love and whatnot too. And then within the illusion, of course, if I see someone injured on the ground, I'm not gonna just laugh in their face and just go like, that's just a game play and it's not real, like I saw an elderly lady, like she fell the other week. It was, the roads were like not great and we were driving, and an elderly lady, she was almost at the sidewalk, but she was walking, she fell on the road, and immediately I rolled down my window, asked her if she was okay, if she needed help, and like she was beyond grateful. Like I was shocked to like see and hear the gratitude. She's like, that's so nice of you. And I'm like, I just asked if you needed help and if you're okay. But it was more of the reflection of the deep gratitude and love that we offer each other. So we're not sitting here saying just because healing's not real to not give a fuck. It's just remembering what healing actually is, so, and I mean, when I stop talking in a second, Julie, if you have like something different to say, or if that's not resonating, let me know. But I feel like you kind of give me those reminders, so I feel like that's, but with that being said, and I'm going to shut up in a second. See, I'm in the illusion that I'm talking too much and too fast right now, so this is all a reflection of stuff I'm clinging to. But I have my Ram Dass Remember Be Here Now book, and these are quotes that I share often in my public posts, but they're being surfaced right now because this is a reminder as to why it's so important to anchor onto what Julie and I are talking about. And I'm saying this not in the sense of Julie and I are the be all authority on this. Other people talk about this. It's just her and I are talking about this right now, and this is why it is so important to anchor onto what we're talking about and anchor onto truth, like embrace where we're playing pretend at, but then anchor on the truth and do the work to let these things go. Because let me just see here, because Haran here, I'm just going to back up into the comments before I get this. Because Haran said it feels so hard to let go of ego thought because it feels like people are trying to screw you over, which I get. I play with that illusion, and this is going to kind of address. I find getting these reminders that I'm about to read can really help with this stuff because it really reminds me why it's so important to let the ego go. And then there's that side note reminder too that the ego doesn't even exist in the first place. So it's you're letting go of something that isn't even real. So that can also help as well. Um, and then so then I'll go back to Timoth's comment here afterwards. We'll go back in a little bit to that. And then Haran goes, LOL, this is ironic because I find Julie's explanation too abstract and Chantal's is more understandable. Oh, that's funny. See, I would have thought that it would have been in reverse, like Julie's is more, but that, but that's it. It's all, we're all playing these different roles because with some other my made up others, some might resonate more with how I'm saying it, but some might resonate more with how Julie's saying it. So it's all playing out for a reason. And yes, Billy, we can get to your question in a little bit here too after I just bring this up, and then I want to hear Julie's response, and then I want to also go back to what Timoth was saying here. So with all that being said, so in this Ram Dass book, and again, this is stuff, the reason why I know again that this stuff is quote unquote true that I'm about to share, which I've shared before, is because I've learned my lessons with this. I know how important it is to anchor onto this stuff. I've seen it for myself with someone who I love very much, who I have to have some separation with right now as our characters. But I was literally by her side, helping take care of her with this stuff, literally even in the hospital with her. Um, I was almost there myself and had Julie like, and this isn't me trying to put Julie on a pedestal. This is genuinely a part of my story in this journey as Tally. I reached out to Julie because I was not doing well, and I was in the illusion of two of my main spirit guides were seeming creepy to me and scary. And I reached out to Julie because I remembered that she had channeled, Eric and Robin before. And I reached out to her asking if she could help me with something. And she said yes. And we've talked almost every day since. And this is going on for like 4 years because I think that was about a year into my awakening, which is about going on 5 years or something. My timing's a little off, but it's timing. So things started changing for the better when Julie started giving me these reminders and I started letting go of this stuff. And then this book backed up what I've been talking about since then. So I came into this book backing up what I've been saying about this for several years now. So it's not like I came into this book and now I'm going off of it. I learned myself and then this book reaffirmed what I've learned. So it's talking about here. There's someone that just came in above me. See that right there. I'm going to get into this in a second, but just as a quick side note, I have to address this because I can feel the anger and frustration kicking in. This is what I was upset about. Part of what I was upset about before we went live. It has been quiet here for a week, and all the schools are closed today. All the buses are canceled because of what the roads are like. There's been no indication that there should be any noise today. It's been silent all week. And today I was woken up 3 times trying to get just an hours of sleep before this morning before I had to get ready for doing this. And now as we're talking, there's pounding above my head. I know there's someone in the apartment above me right now. I actually want to say I'm livid. Like I cannot believe, we might see my foot just got tickled and I want to turn and say, fuck you. You guys can control this right now. So maybe we'll get into that in a minute, but I'm going to try not to spin into that and continue back with what I was talking about here because I am not a happy camper at the moment. So I'm glad it's not very loud, but I'm like, it's been quiet all week and now this is going to happen. Really? What the? So I get it. I'm in a space right now where spirit's fucking me over. They have every ability to control this and they're not choosing to. So it's a reflection of what you guys are talking about, these attack thoughts. And this is why I'm saying it's funny that these things are being brought up because these are reminders that Julie's been trying to give me. Like, so I get it. Like I'm doing this with spirit and I know like and this is why though it's so important for me to let this go, which is what I'm about to say here. So as long as there's an up and down in your head, outer darkness, as long as you're in the world of yin and yang, outer darkness, it takes a lot of purification of what? Purification of thought and freedom from attachment. And then it also says here that psychosis business is an interesting business. If you go through the doorway too fast, excuse me, there's my resistance kicking in, and you're not ready for it, you're bound hand and foot, and thrown into outer darkness. You may land anywhere, and lots of people end up in mental hospitals. The reason they do so is they went through the door with their ego on. Um, so they've gone in the first round, and what happens is they go on a huge ego trip, and it's called the messianic complex. It's called paranoia delusions of grandeur. And this is why it's so important. If you want to keep letting yourself blast up, if you want to walk through the doors, if you want to keep awakening and ascending, this is why it's important to do the work. And it's not that there needs to be work to be done, but it's the work to let go of what's not real. This is why it's so important to do that, because it can end up playing out. Like, if we look at the way our illusion of the world looks right now and we think that's scary now, if you let yourself blast up without doing this work to let these ego lies go, it gets in the illusion of terrifying things like your consciousness being taken from you and tortured for years on end, or seeing the world burning around you with people jumping from buildings, or being strapped down in a bed screaming in a mental hospital because you're seeing what you would call demons working through people torturing other people. Like, and again, it's not that this stuff's actually happening, but we're making this up. And as you let yourself awaken in understanding that this isn't all what we've thought that it was, that there's so much more to this, and you start tapping into, I'm asking for help with my words. It's hard to explain because it's going into like untruth with truth. If you start going into, yes, everything is God, but then evil is still real, and you're here to save people and their egos, and you're this hero, and you've been left behind before, and there's this split, and some do and some don't, you're just going to exacerbate, you're just going to perpetuate and grow those illusions more and more. And it does end up being in the illusion of scary, because you're just making your mirrors more, I wanna say stronger, but it's like it's more obvious, because it does just become so like, this is a nightmare, and some people, even with that happening, because it looks and feels so real, they believe it's real, and then they keep perpetuating that loop. But that's why it's so important to understand it's not real. I'm not actually being attacked. Evil isn't real. These are all veils of illusion. I'm choosing to make believe and throw on top of what is actually real. So even with, like, my anger towards that, I can be very resistant to accepting that I'm making this up. Like, I allowed these people to come through. I made all of this up today. I really want to sit in with this whole space of spirit just fucked me over. They gave me all these signs of signals that it was going to be quiet and peaceful today. No one should be around. There's going to be no noise. Everything's going to flow. Like, I got all of these signals, and it didn't fucking happen. Like, it's been quiet for the most part while we've been talking, but my sleep this morning didn't get the sleep I wanted, and now I did just have someone come in and make noise above me. Not overly loud, but it still happened. So it's really, really, really difficult for me not to go into, they did this to me, I surrendered, and I did my mental cleanup, and they gave me signs and signals, and yada, yada, yada. But the truth is, I have to anchor onto, I made it up. Spirit is loving and peaceful. They're not going to do things to just fuck with me. If I keep believing that, then yeah, I'm going to be in the illusion of being fucked with. And that can expand into having the illusion of demons attacking me. But I stopped having the illusions of, like, feeling dread and scared when feeling spirit around, or waking up with scratches on my stomach that hurt, when I started doing this work and accepting these things. So yin and yang, duality, attack, that stuff, it's not real. That's why it's like, it's not light versus dark. Light is what is. We can go beyond light, because what is light, but it's a good way of saying it. Light, love, it's what is. There is no duality. Um, so before we get into what Timoth had said there, I just want to take a pause and let Julie speak and see if there's anything that you're wanting to say. I know I just talked a lot, so thank you for listening to all of that.
Thank you, everybody, for what you're contributing, and
Yeah.
Tally, and just the sense of everybody working together to assist in everyone's healing. So, a really beautiful way of looking at everyone together and seeing everyone on the same level is that everyone is everyone's teacher, everyone is everyone's student, everyone is everyone's therapist, everyone is everyone's patient. And just to bring us all in on that level together in our equality, in the goodness without the equal goodness without opposite we all are, and to just be here and accept it and give thanks. Give thanks for what everyone is. And then let everything we experience and see and hear and feel today come from there. When I bump into a not good feeling, I know I've lost touch with it. I know I've lost touch in some reality, in some way. Sorry. I didn't mean to say reality in some way with the reality of us. I've gone off into another reality. I could I could keep making up all these divergent realities through my thinking, and I could seem to travel there and experience that. But when I realize how important my thinking is and how important it is to stay in touch with my gratitude for you, as not as any characteristics of your person or anything about your past or anything about your body, but just you as you are, as beingness, is if I stay in touch with that gratitude, with the beingness for the beingness of you, then this is like I'm seeing like a people mover in the airport. This is the people mover I want to be on. This is what I want to see around me. I want to see a symbolic representation of how much everyone is loved, how beautiful every being is, how loving every being is. Because while I might see a projection on top of a beautiful being of someone who's snarky or someone who's unkind, that's what I wanted to see. Isn't that crazy? I always see what I believe, and I believe it because I want to see it. I keep showing myself various versions of repetitive movies and experiencing them. But once you know you're doing it, and I have done this thing, and it is this I can undo, and actually, all of us are invulnerable. We cannot harm and we cannot be harmed, and I'm willing to see reflections of this. That's all I want. I just want the healing of the mind, and I want what I see and experience to be the reflection of a healed mind. And I'm not going to get specific about it because I'm not going to pretend that a physical world can give me joy. It can't. The only thing that can give me joy is remembering you, because remembering you is remembering me. And that's it.
I like that, thank you. Yeah, I like that, and like you said, because it's gratitude is a part of what we are, and it's funny that you brought that up because I saw like, a post yesterday or whatever saying about, give gratitude and your guides will wanna help you, and it's not about giving gratitude in order to receive help. The help is always there. It's just it
Hmm.
is a part of what we are, and when we sit in that, it allows more of what is real, just kind of backing up a little bit on what you're saying, and then I want to so like I said, so Timoth had said, I guess the ego thought is that they shouldn't say things like that. Um, yeah, that is definitely one ego thought, absolutely. So there's opportunity to do work on that. Because I definitely have those, and it's actually this is actually really funny. I literally just yesterday, and I even it's funny because I'm coughing and they were talking about resistance and like not speaking and stuff. That's funny and not saying things. I came across a post on Reddit about essentially it was this whole thing about this mom and her 5-year-old. I think it was a mom and daughter, 5-year-old daughter were in McDonald's and these people sat behind them and they were talking. From what I'm gathering, it probably was just a normal private conversation and they happened to like drop the F bomb probably here or there, and this mom had asked them to like not swear because of their daughter and they're like, this is a free country. We can say what we want, and I'm in the illusion if someone's being really boisterous and loud and like being really disruptive, then yeah, there's an issue. But I'm also like in that space. If it's just a private conversation and you happen to drop the F bomb and someone overhears like, and you don't like it, well, work on yourself with it. Like that's a private conversation. They're not purposely doing anything to hurt anyone, all that stuff. The point in my bringing up that up though is it's funny that we're saying, I guess the ego thought is they shouldn't say things like that. This has been something completely surfaced for me yesterday. And even this morning, they shouldn't say things like that. And I even had a whole conversation with my one friend on video chat last night about this too, asking her what her thoughts were. So it's really funny. Again, this is just for me, that's point proof of how everything is a reflection and a mirror of what we're clinging to inside. I literally and this is why it's starting to freak me out a little bit, not because it's bad, but because it's showing like my system's not used to it because this is happening more and more where it's becoming more obvious that everything is my reflection and happening with how I'm clinging on to things. Like, what are the chances that I literally, this was a big thing yesterday, like a good chunk of my, like, part of my day was hyper focused on this. Like, I even made comments myself on this thread, and then I talked about it, video chat about it last night. And then I looked at this thread again this morning. So you tell me that's just a coincidence. It's not, So so that was just kind of interesting. So then with all that, I'm just gonna scroll to hi. I think I always forget how to say your name, Asti or Asai. I always forget, but hi, how are you? I'm glad you're here. And then we're gonna go back up to Billy in a second, but Timoth then just said, adding to my comment from earlier for the person getting irritated for having to repeat themselves, the underlying feeling for them could be not feeling heard. And that yes, absolutely, that could be definitely a part of it, absolutely. I mean, even just focusing in on me and how everything's my reflection, 1,010%. I am in a strong illusion belief that people don't hear me, don't see me, don't give a fuck about what I have to say. Like, I struggle with this in the illusion of, like, a daily basis. So yes, absolutely. And then so I'm gonna shut up and let Julie speak again in a second. I just wanted to get through these, and then, because then Billy said here, because I think this might be a little off topic. She said, "Can I ask a question about my love life? I feel a connection to the person so much that I feel him at night, even though he lives far away. Is this in my mind? I really like him." So I'll let you, so I can't remember the first way I said it. Did I say Assy or Assai? I think I said Assy first, right? I think. I don't know. I'm sorry. I always forget how to say your name, but thank you for clarifying, even though I'm forgetting which way I said it first. But yeah, with Billy, she feels a connection with this person so much that she feels him at night, even though he lives far away. Is this in my mind? I really like him. Well, I know one thing I can say right away is, I mean, love is what's real. So if we're seeing a reflection of love, we're seeing a reflection of what's real. So that's like a very zoomed out answer to that. So I don't know what you want to say to that, Julie, but I'm gonna, because I've just been talking a lot. So I'll let you, like, if there's anything else that you're wanting to say from that other stuff or in response to Billy, but I want to give you the floor and just shut up for a little bit and let you talk.
Well, thanks everybody for keeping this flow going.
Yes,
It's
thank you.
really, really interesting and fun for me. Um, so you're thinking of someone comes to mind. It's always a blessing because all our minds are connected all the time. There's really only one mind, but all our minds are connected all the time. So whenever you think of anyone, it was meant to be, and you have a chance to bless and be blessed in that moment. And as far as the specific forms it's going to take, we don't know. But if we let the self, the capital S self, we are together, be in charge of all of that, and then as beings, we love everyone. So, what's the appropriate message to send when someone comes to mind? I love you. The simplicity of just what we all are together and the recognition of it. And then what forms is that supposed to take? Ego's going to try to take over and say, I want this person to be my friend. I want this person to be my boyfriend. I want, and I don't want, I don't want, I don't want. And ego's going to try to set out a life trajectory of like, I want this person to be involved in my life in this way and not in these ways. And this is what would make me happy and this is what would make me unhappy. So I would advise you to, although only fools give advice, but that's me. So I would say pay attention to the thoughts that come up and where they get specific, where they start to feel wanty and needy, then know those thoughts are coming from your false mind, from not you, from, let's say, from the matrix, from what we aren't and never will be, but what we use to imprison ourselves. What I'm using the word matrix very playfully, but if I'm going to use it, I would say it's something we do to ourselves, like unknowingly, that seems to limit us, but that can't. So, um, I'm just looking. I feel a connection to this person so much that I feel him at night, even though he lives so far away. Is this in my mind? Yes, everything's in your mind. Mind is the only reality. The physical is what we've imagined. So we're mind, we're not body. Yes, it's in your mind. And you really like him because you love him, because you love everybody. And so just give yourself that basis. And then, as far as the forms, it's going to take, we don't know. But if we let the self, the capital S self, we are together, be in charge of all of that, and then that basis. I know it might sound strange. And then invite everything that's supposed to happen for the benefit of both of you to just flow from that recognition. And then maybe Tally will make better sense of it in the convenient now sense of better, like less abstract.
Well, no, and that's just it. You're completely right, and it is all in the mind. So, like, of course, it's in the mind, and I'm seeing that more and more. Like, even for myself as an example, and then I'm actually getting like I'm seeing Eric giving a response to this, so I'll share that in a second. But um, I like just the like last week or just a few nights ago, like just really not that long ago, I'm laying in bed and it's dark and I have my eyes completely closed and I see a white flash of light move in front of my like vision, like my eyes are open, but they're not. And then I felt like a physical actual bonk on my lips. But I also like feel things like when I'm laying in bed, I'll have like Eric lift my legs up in the air and moving them around, but my physical legs are laying still. So it really is like it's all in the mind. Like we're like what's actually physical is literally it's not actually real or us. It's playful and we can utilize it as tools, but it really is in the mind. Now, with that being said, what I was also receiving off of that too, I keep seeing Eric, Archangel Uriel, but Eric, and this is where I need to trust myself because I'm questioning if I'm getting it right, but I am. So in response to what Billy's asking, I'm also seeing, so like, of course, everything that Julie's saying, but then just kind of like going off of that and a little bit like not really zoomed down necessarily, but basically I'm seeing Eric like making kissy faces and like googly eyes and like, and it's just the feeling that I'm getting with it is just have fun with this. Just like be in the flow with it. Like, like if you feel like being flirty and playful, like go with it, but like just have fun with it. Like, and again, I'm getting kind of what I said at the beginning of all of this is like, don't get too thinky about it. It's like, and if you do get too thinky about it, then do the work on yourself with how you're thinking and feeling. So, basically like focus in and anchor onto what Julie was saying, and then also just be playful with it, be in the flow and enjoy it for what it is, and anchor onto knowing if it's loving, it's a reflection of truth, and that's the main thing. Um, and then Timoth here said, and then Assy said yes. So I think I'm saying it right. Assy, yes. So I think I'm saying it right. So and she said we should do this more often. I would like to do this again with you, but I know that like there's no pressure and we'll do it as feels right. But if there is that opportunity to do this again, I would love to absolutely go live with Julie
Yeah.
again. Yay. So then Timoth here is saying, what do you think of the idea that Satan can masquerade as an angel of light? It is said in the Bible that a lot of Christians reference that. I thought time travel. Oh, and then Billy's saying, I thought time travel. I think he's like me. Okay, so we'll get to Billy's in a second. With the Satan stuff, that is so I grew up Catholic. I knew like in Catholic school, you learn a lot about the Bible and whatnot. It never sat right with me about like God's an old man sitting in the sky damning people to hell and all that stuff. I always knew there was more. My stomach just got tickled. I always knew there was more than what I was being taught. I always knew that there was stuff in the Bible that didn't sit right with me. Now with where I'm at with understanding what all of this is, I still have my moments where I can feel my ego going off, wanting to anchor onto kind of like today, like spirits fucking me over. And then you can spin that into it's demons fucking with me. But that I'll never, ever, 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 ever again anchor onto that fully as truth. There might be that ego part of me that I can feel is trying to anchor onto it, and I might let that flare up and feel anger and whatnot. But there's even if I'm not expressing it, there's always this part inside myself, which is more of what I really am, which is the whole me. But there's always this part inside of myself that will never, never, never anchor onto that as truth because again, I know what that does, kind of like what I was reading from that book. People end up in mental hospitals because of this. People have tried to argue with me, well, a group of us experience the same demon. Well, yeah, of course you did. First of all, we're one mind and you're all believing it. So you're going to experience it. We're energy is one that we're one with, playing as we're allowing it to. And if it's not loving and peaceful, it is not a reflection of truth. Satan, devil, demons, they are literally just metaphors of our own made up tool of ego, shadow, illusion, false evidence appearing real, the veil of illusion we choose to blanket over top of truth, period. And it is so important to understand and anchor onto that because we are it's I love how Julie like said it a couple weeks ago that we're navigating through a landscape of our own thoughts. So if you believe in Satan, you believe in demons, you believe in evil, you believe you're going to be attacked, you believe that Satan is masking around as an angel of light, then you know what? That welcome to your made up nightmare. You're going to experience these things because you're believing them to be, but are they actually true? No. And you have every ability to not play it out like that. Not that it's wrong or bad because there is no wrong or bad, but it is the illusion of terrifying. And I don't want to play that out. I've seen what like I said, I have literally seen someone who I love very much literally strapped down in in the hospital and stuck in the psych ward. And this has happened many times over the past 5 years and is still happening with them. And I won't let myself go down that. And this is why I need to work on myself with this, but this is where I lose a lot of this is ego judgment. I know everything's helpful and we're not to judge, but where I'm still clinging to my ego judgment, this is where I lose a lot of respect for most of the spiritual community right now, because particularly with anyone that looks like they have a big like client build up, a lot of subscribers, someone who seems to be well established, because in my mind I'm going, if you are really that awake and aware, how could you ever indulge in this stuff as real and true? Because you should know by now what this actually does. And spirit is not talking like that. Spirit doesn't indulge in illusion like it's real and true. They help us through and out of illusion, not to keep indulging in it. So Satan isn't real, it's a metaphorical character that we're making up, and we have the ability to never indulge in that, but you need to do the letting go in order to allow. So no, Satan isn't masquerading as an angel of light in the sense, however, you can take it, yes it is, in the sense that it's a pretend mask that we're putting over top of truth. Then we can say Satan, which is a metaphorical veil of illusion, is masking, we're masking over top of truth. But is it a literal character, a literal being that is pretending to be love and God and light and is masquerading around and fucking us all over? Absolutely not. And is something we 1010% have to let go of. So I know I'm very like, like compassionate and like kind of like a lot of like I can't remember the word, but there's a lot of umph to what I'm saying, and I know that, but it's because like I said, I have been there, and I know how important it is to let this go, which is why, as much as I can resist and fight this stuff, I'm very grateful that I've got people like Julie in my life who will constantly, like, I ask, even Haran knows. Haran will have our conversations, and I'll ask Haran, like, please give me pushback. Don't indulge in this with me because I need the pushback. Like I can't, I know I'm resisting it, but help me push it back. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up and let, oh my gosh, I opened something up here. There we go. um, excuse me. Um, so I'm gonna shut up here and let Julie respond. But I was just like, oh yeah, I definitely have a response to that. Nope, not real, not true. Got to work on letting it go because nope.
I'm going to talk about Satan in a minute, but I see a couple of things here, and then maybe Telly can see if we skipped anything. But can you channel my cat's higher self? I would say let's find out. But like in my experience, what I get guided to do now is don't try to do it. If it pops through, it pops through, but just don't try to do it. Just be more in tune with the cat's self and Haran's self and Tally's self and Billy's self and everyone who's here. The self you all share, put that self in charge, and then see what comes. And that's very different from what I used to experience. So like, let's go in and see,
Sorry,
and
can I
let's see if
interrupt
I
really quick?
can.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to hear what you're saying, but just to add into that, because I think I need to trust myself, but I am getting a visual. Now, I don't remember, is your cat like gray and black and white or something like that? I don't know. I'm getting a cat that looks gray and like gray and white or whatever in my head. And it's like sitting there chill with sunglasses, like sitting up with sunglasses and just kind of going like, hey, what's up? Like just being real. Oh my God, being a cool cat. Really? See, to me, that's gotta be me, Chance. I'm like, I would not, like, I am silly, but like, I wouldn't be like, yeah, like that to me. So, I mean, I might be getting, mixes, yes. Oh, that's funny. And now Harn's seeing a flashing blue orb. So I know I'm interrupting, but I had to, because I was receiving that. So it's kind of funny how you're like, don't try. And I'm like, I wasn't trying, but I was seeing that. So anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue. You said with you.
Yeah, that's exactly how it should happen. It happened spontaneously. You probably weren't straining or struggling, right? It just flowed forth. And the important thing is it can flow forth through any of us. Like we all have the same abilities, we all have the ability to share abilities. And this is what my focus is on more on just for in my individual development, I guess, than just like allowing everything to come through everyone without trying too hard to do one particular thing. Um, so I did see also about heaven. There's no levels of heaven back at home, right? No division of realms based on soul advancement. So I would say no.
No.
But on the other hand, if you find yourself having an experience of it, then it's for you and it's
Yeah.
for everyone who seems to be in that experience with you. So whenever we seem to be experiencing things with separate elements, whether it's realms or people or objects, whatever we're experiencing, it's for us. And so, no, there's no separation, but we keep experiencing separation. So, whatever form of separation we find ourselves in the experience of, is for us. And that way, we never have to argue for or against what seems to be another experience of separation. We don't have to say it exists or it doesn't, because literally anything you can imagine could seem to exist for you. And if you find yourself in the middle of it, then just know it's for everyone who seems to be in that with you, and you're loved very much and you're carried right through it. Oh, and then the Satan thing, right? As Satan masquerading as an angel of light. So, what we do, what we've learned to do, and what we keep repeating is that we project fear out. And then, having projected fear out, we see people that appear to be separate from each other. These people are bodies, and they seem to have pasts that are different from one another. And we see all these false uh, fronts. You know, we don't see the light. We don't see the being, the pure being that each of us is. We see this person in front of it, and we're walking around thinking we're the people, we're the characters, we're the bodies, and we're all caught up in the drama and the story of what I call my light friends. When they first talked to me, the first thing they said was, "You're a character in our favorite soap opera, and we are following your story with great interest." Well, that was the perfect way to get my attention and to eventually let me know that I'm not the character. I believed I was the character. I was having the experience of being the character, but we're not these characters. So Satan's one of those characters. And if you seem to be having a very realistic experience of Satan, it's okay. It's just your fear that you projected. And you can say, I have done this thing, and it is this I will undo. Just an intention to let everything that is not real fall away. An intention to let everything you experience be a reflection of the truth of us. And the truth of all of us is goodness without opposite, it's peace, it's deep rest, it's love, it's all things beautiful, it's beauty, it's order, it's divine order. And the more we can remember the being behind that person has all those qualities. Lucifer, right? The being behind the false front of Lucifer, which might be the fear I projected out. So I'm seeing that form. The being is completely safe, completely beautiful. And the more I learn how to tune into that and rest, then I'm not trying to run especially towards someone to take from them. I'm not trying to run especially away from someone to try to escape something I think is bad. I'm just here with, and I'm grateful, and then everything can follow from that.
Absolutely. And this is also why I'm getting the also kind of like the reminder too that this is why we don't take we're it's not that there's a should or shouldn't, but just bear with me with the semantics for a moment. Why we shouldn't cling to near death experiences as real in the sense like if there's a reflection of love there, then yes, like we can anchor onto that as a reflection of what's real. That being said, we often hear people talk about near death experiences where it's been like a hellscape or the void and it's been terrifying and whatnot. That is, those were never meant to. Now, everything is helpful. We're not to judge, everything is helpful. At the same time, those aren't necessarily like, not in the sense that it's not helpful if this happens this way, but just in the sense of what these actually are. Those weren't moments to be taken as real and share them and spread them around as this is real and I experienced hell and blah, 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 blah. those were moments because again, if we need to face and let go of what's not real to allow and be what is. We can't bring the illusion baggage with to where we truly are. So that's why if for me when I've experienced the void, it's been this beyond bliss, calm peace in ways that in a way that I can't properly describe with words. It sucked. In the illusion of judgment, it sucked coming back into this. Like I cried like a baby coming back into this and my muscles like just ached. Oh, it sucked. But for me, it was peaceful and bliss and calm. But that's because I am doing a lot of this quote unquote work in this. I'm accepting what this is and I'm facing my shit and then I'm working on it and letting it go. So for me, I got to experience the void as calm and bliss because the void is essentially like a spiritual car wash. It's a place to face the shit that you have not let go of, to let it go and to allow and be where we truly are, which is home. God, source, love, our true self, all the abundance and joy and peace that comes within that. So if someone has a near death experience, it's just an illusioned program within this as well. It can tap into truth, but if it's scary or fearful, painful, or anything like that, it was meant as an opportunity to face how we're feeling and thinking about it and then let that go in order to allow the truth that we blanketed with that stuff, you know. So there was just that just surfaced with what Julie was saying as well, and there was that reminder there. And then there's been a couple other comments here. Let's see. So he said no levels of heaven. So mixes, yes. And then he saw, okay, that was cool. White and gray stripe. That's because that's what I was seeing was the white and gray stripes. That's really cool. So I was seeing, so yeah, so your cat was just sitting there chilling with cool sunglasses going with like this face, not actually saying words, but kind of that feeling of what's up and like, and just the play. I'm like just being very playful, being a cool cat. Oh my God. And now I'm starting to drool. So that was really funny. So then Timoth said, what happens with words that we make up in our heads when we write and create stories? Do they still exist, and do you just tap into alternate? Hang on, I'm going to slow down. I'm going to start that again because I'm getting it, but I also need to like click in. Also, Haran said that my hair looks like an infinity symbol. Like when I put it up into a button, I totally see
Oh,
what he's talking about. I didn't even mean to do that. And it's funny because I haven't done this with my hair and I don't know how long because it's been too short for a really long time. So I haven't been able to put it up like this. So that's really funny that he's pointing it out and I happen to put it in like the infinity symbol. But um, so Timoth is saying, okay, so say it slow and let my brain connect. I'm reading too fast and then my brain's not kicking in. I'm reading too fast. That's funny. Anyway, so what happens with words? Oh, worlds. See, I was reading too fast. What happens with worlds that we make up in our heads when we write and create stories? Do they still exist? And you just tap into alternate realities when creating stories? That's actually a really cool question because so I know Julie's gonna definitely give a more like zoomed out kind of like response to that, but like with what I'm getting with that and like with where I'm at with stories and everything. So first of all, there's the reminder of now this is a very zoomed out reminder that all versions are playing out yet none of it's actually happening. So if you write up a story, it's a version that is playing out now, but it's also not happening. So there's all infinite realities, but none of them are actually happening and it's not real unless it's a reflection of love, peace, oneness, all that stuff. So with that, what's really interesting about like, and we've talked, I know I'm almost positive Julie and I have talked about this, and I've talked about this with a couple other friends. What I find really fascinating with stories and movies and shows and books and poems and music and whatnot, it's all stories that we are playing out. We're watching ourselves in these different dreams and we just don't remember. We're literally, these are us watching ourselves, learning these lessons, and it's to help us remember what we actually are, but then also face our shit and work on that to let it go. So say like one good example that I have, because I know I did this for sure with this movie. I used to every once in a while, I would like to enjoy watching 1408 because it's scary, but there's something that in a morbid way kind of like intrigues me and I just enjoy watching it. But now since my awakening, I've only watched it once and I took my notepad and I made notes about anything that scared me or didn't feel good. And I made notes and then I did my work on everything. I won't indulge in things that are scary or not feeling good or violent or whatever unless I'm doing it to do my self work. I won't do it for entertainment factor anymore because I know I'm making this all up. I need to watch what I'm clinging to and believing. And I know I'm watching versions of myself where I've gone through this and I'm making it up and it's all lessons for myself to work on. So that's really funny that you're saying what happens when we make up these worlds in our head and write them and create stories. it's already happening. It is a dream that you're making up and that you're playing, but again, it's not happening and it's not a reflection of truth unless it's, loving and peaceful and whatnot. So, um, and so what they do, they still exist. They technically don't exist at all. We're home now, and this never, and that's where I don't understand how. I'm not saying I know how it works. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I do know we are home now, and we're just a good way to say it is we're just imagining this inside of ourself, and it's like if you think of the word what, does anything happen? No, it's just a thought that just passed through your head, and that's just it. We're not even again, I don't get it because I know we're not even thinking this. Like it's like we're not even thinking it at all. But we are thinking. Like it's just I don't understand, but it's all just imagined inside ourselves. So that was just a really interesting question. And yeah, I definitely want to give Julie the floor and let her give her response to that too.
So our experience of time and space right now is a story. So if you think of stories you write and the story you seem to be living right now, it's just story, story, story. And we never left home, which is complete love, complete fulfillment. Hard to put in words because words are separate and they belong to time and space. Um, but stories about time and space, they aren't real, but they're all of them, whether it's the one you're living or one you seem to have written down or typed out, they're all useful tools that return us to the full awareness of home, the full awareness of where we never left. So they're all good. They're not real and they're all good.
I like they're not real and they're all good. I like that. It is fascinating. It's just especially when you like there are times where it's just so obvious I'm watching something, I'm like, oh, that is so like I can tell that that's I placed this here for myself. Like these are like I said, it's all stories that we're playing out and we've all allowed them to shine through in these different ways, but it's all to help us. Like Julie said,
Oh,
it's all good.
hello.
Um
Hey, excuse me for just a second.
no worries. So I'll just keep talking
I'm
while
still
she's
doing the
busy there.
live,
So with that being
but
said,
I think
so yeah, no, so
maybe
that I just find that really cool. We'll get
half
some
an
more
hour.
further questions in a second once she's
And
done.
I'll
But
check in.
that was a really cool question. I really enjoyed that because it's stories and shows and movies just fascinate me because it's just like, yeah, this is totally just us watching ourselves. It's kind of like how like when we're like where we're back home and we're watching this and we're just like laughing our asses off because it's just like watching a movie. That's the same thing in this watching movies and shows. If we can get ourselves to just watch and laugh and be like, that's us. I can't believe I took it seriously. Look, it's just a movie. Like I played that out. It's just a movie. It didn't even happen. Um, so then Haran here says, why do people in this space always say that it annoys me when I see famous or well-known people being channeled and they say they are evolving there? Hang on, I'm not why do people in
I
this
think that
space
means in spirit, in the idea of when you're in spirit, you evolve. I've heard mediums say before that children grow up in spirit and people learn and things like that. And I just say I don't know. But you can have an experience of anything. You could have an experience of someone who seems to have passed and is in what we call spirit, but and is evolving. You could have an experience of that. You could have an experience of absolutely anything. And the only thing I could say about it is I can't judge it up or down because I have no basis for judging anything. The only thing the basis for judging things is ego lies always. So if I'm going to judge something especially good or especially bad, it's going to be based on a lie. And that's okay. It's a deep habit and I just work with it every day. Um, but anyone can have any experience and it's neither up nor down. The only thing I can say about experiences is just helpful. No matter what experience anyone is having, it's helpful to them in some way. Even the experience of someone saying something that I think is not true, right? Because if I feel annoyed, then that's my call. That's my call to go and investigate and see what ego lie I believe to cause the annoyance. So, yeah, I can't say really they do evolve, they don't evolve, because evolution is change, and we've always been changeless. But all of time and space is about pretending that change is possible, that we could change the perfection of our being. That's okay that we're imagining change because the way it starts to get used on our behalf is that change becomes a blessing. Change becomes the perception of change becomes a universal blessing for everyone. And so that's what I try to reorient toward as much as I can every day. If change is going to occur, change is a universal blessing for everyone.
And to just go off of what Julie's saying, like she said, like change is not like what we are, it's changeless, right? So with that being said, like we're not to judge it and everything is helpful. Like essentially everything that Julie's saying, with that, there is that also that reinforcement, kind of like what Julie just said too, which is in truth, there is no evolving or learning or growing or expanding because we are whole, holy, and perfect always. Like I don't understand this. And to me, I still want to say, like, there's not a space where we're not self-aware because that makes zero sense to me. But in the space of like what we truly are, there's that level of like we're not even like self-aware and whatnot. Um and with that being said, though, like we are this quote unquote all knowing, it's this full awareness. There is nothing that we need to learn. Like I said earlier, we just get to be together in the love that we are. There is no need for exchange or growth. Like I've felt that. I've been there for a split second, you know. So we've been we've been clinging to the ego lie illusions of like Julie was saying, time and space, which equals change and evolve and whatnot. And our awareness in the illusion of linear time, our awareness has been slowly expanding. We've been waking up more and more and more. So there's going to be, and we're still seeing it where we do see mediums channeling spirit, where it's looking like the spirit's talking about how they're learning and growing. I mean, I even fell for it when I first hit my awakening with a certain, if you know, you know, but like with a certain spirit where they just graduated into archangel status. And now I judge myself for it. I'm like, I feel so stupid. And like, I'll talk to them and I'll be like, I can't believe I actually believe that you graduated into archangel status. What even is that? There is no archangel status versus angel versus earth angel. Like it's literally, that is such a ego lie hierarchy game. That's just not true. That being said, it is helpful, you know, and it's kind of like going off like with the NDE stuff. If we have the experience, the illusioned experience of learning and growing, however that looks as a physical being or what we would call spirit, then it's for us and it's helpful. It's still an illusioned part of the gameplay though, because we don't need to learn or grow or expand. There is nothing to learn or grow or expand. We're just, the whole point of all of this is people still say, there'll still some be people that will still say we don't really know what we're here doing this for. Well, the whole point was just to be playful, but then to remember what the truth actually is and be and allow that. Simple. That's all that this was. And then to stop playing pretend and then to see that we weren't even playing pretend in the first place, you know? Um, so yeah, I just want to kind of like expand on that and like reinforce kind of what she was saying with that. And then Timoth here said, just for fun, I've created stories about a mysterious, my nose is getting played with, it's tickling right here. If anyone wants to practice seeing energy, they're playing with the tip of my nose. Just for fun, I've created stories about a mysterious or magical phenomenon called the shirt phenomenon, causing shirts to ride up to under the chest. The person with it goes through like a second. So where you're making someone else's shirt go up under their chest, that, see, now with that, when I'm just getting the reminders of what that is, remembering everything's ingredients, and we can't do something to each other that isn't agreed upon. Um, and there's also that level where, which we talked about, I can't remember if Julie and I talked about this, but I know I talked about this last night with my other friend about just because we are understanding this is a dream and it's not real, we're not here to purposely be shit disturbers. So just because, I think I said this earlier, just because I know this isn't real, I'm not going to laugh at somebody just because they fell down and be like, "Hi, you're not real. Like you're just a character, and I just made you fall over." No, like when I saw that woman fall, I right away my natural instinct was, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" You know. So it's. I need to readjust myself here a little bit. My legs getting a little sore. Which I've been doing without moving the phone. I don't know. So it's with that being said, like we can make up any story that we want. Absolutely. I'll use I language with this. I just know that I don't want to be indulging in storylines where I might be causing someone some sort of distress, because my mind's going to, if someone made my shirt go up on me, I'm going to be humiliated. Like I'm so insecure about my body. Like that's not okay, you know. But again, that's my insecurities and my illusions and my stuff that I'm working on. And this is why it's like, um I'm also working on making sure I give grace to everyone for the things that I'm in the illusion that they say or do, because there's things that I've said and done in my illusion past, or even recently, that I'm embarrassed and ashamed about. And so I want to be given that grace. And I don't want people to be holding things against me either. So it's all, I really want to keep making sure I'm operating and making this a love letter, like how you and my other friend Jamie have put it recently, making this a love letter to all, but then I am all making it a love letter to myself. So operating from that place of kindness and peace and love and joy and generosity and and compassion and compassionate neutrality, rather than I can do whatever I want just because it's a dream and I'm making it up. Because we're working on operating from that place of love and truth rather than from the ego want and need. I don't know what Julie's wanting to say to that there.
Well, you helped bring something forward for me. The ego thought, my shirt is my protection.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just the
absolutely.
idea of, no, no, my shirt is my protection. I must be covered. I must be protected. And you could
Yeah,
feel the feeling there, right?
yeah,
So there's the blessing, there's the opportunity. My shirt is my protection. Set it down. Does this mean I'm going to run down the street naked? No, not likely.
no,
But it helps to set it down for a minute. My shirt is not my protection. My beingness with you, our equality, our sameness, that's our eternal protection. So there we just reorient from the false protection of the shirt to the true protection of what we are together.
it's that I'm right there with you on that. I feel that same with the. It's like my clothes are my protection. Even with spirit, like I know spirit doesn't focus on the body, and literally the clothes are doing nothing. They can access my entire body without, but like I'm still like I keep myself covered because I'm all insecure. So it's definitely surfacing things. So yeah, no, I absolutely that's funny. I'm right there with you on that. And then Haran says, I'm thinking, aren't they finally not playing pretend anymore? As if, oh, cool, this was never real. In truth, that's where we always are at. Yes, we're like, this isn't, we can
Mhm.
always see this isn't actually happening. Again, I don't understand how it works.
Oops.
But, oh, you good?
Yeah, I just hit the arrow down and then I saw the word report and I felt scared. I thought, am I going to accidentally report somebody what I do?
That's funny. No, we're good. We're good. All good.
Oh,
That's
good.
funny.
Okay, it worked that time.
Um, that's funny. So yeah, no, that's where we truly are. We's all at. We can see it's not real. And then Tim has said childhood and learning about vulnerability. I'm not sure where that was. If you want to expand on that, you might have said something further down that I haven't seen yet. Um, so Haran saying, looks like it from my perspective. Billy saying, love motivation talks. Thank you for being here. We love that you're here. Um, so Haran said, I'm seeing this orb flash as you were talking about your ponytail with glee. That's funny. And then he says, a story, Chantal woke up and $5 million under her bed. We are working on that. I'm working on it, but also letting it go. Hello, rabbit friend here, one. Let's call you Rabbit. Hi, Rabbit. Follow the white rabbit. So Rabbit saying, I'm really starting to see how I'm creating an order to wake up. And that's just it. Everything that we're doing was the point to help us wake up, because we've been in this pretend sleep and we're dreaming this. And so we're waking up inside the dream and we're turning it from our own made up nightmare into a dream of truth, until the point that we let this go completely and see what Haran just said is where we're always at. We can see that it was never real in the first place. And then Timothy said, I'm guessing the idea of reincarnation is actually just an illusion. There are really no such things as past and future lives because it's all happening at once. Absolutely. Reincarnation, incarnation, it's not real because we're not even actually here doing this. So first of all, like he said, all versions are playing out, yet none of it's actually happening. And there is no past, there is no future. It's literally just now. So there is no linear time. Plus the fact that we aren't even here doing this. We're home now, imagining this inside of ourselves. So to reincarnate and incarnate means that we are projecting ourselves or putting ourselves into something, but that's not true. We're imagining this and we're always home. We've never left. We're just imagining this inside of ourselves, dreaming it, hallucinating it, however, whatever words you want to utilize. So yeah, you can go ahead, Julie.
Oh, I just wanted to say hi to Rabbit Friend here. Um, and I've been blessing everyone all day. Thank you. Bless you.
Yes, bless you.
And there was something else that I then forgot. Oh, reincarnation. Um, Anything we believe is real, like I believe hands are real and I believe cars are real, right? Anything we believe are is real can get used to help all of us. So if reincarnation is a concept in your environment, you believe it's real. And it got used with me to help me. I had started to have some memories that felt like a different lifetime and a different time and place, but it felt so real. And it all three of them were about death, the way I died. And it helped me process some things that seemed to apply to another lifetime that maybe I wasn't able to receive that opportunity to process the thinking in the same way in this physical lifetime. So I felt like I worked with each one of those lifetimes and processed and let go. And then now the memories are irrelevant. I wouldn't say I was that person really. I mean, I kind of have a shade of memory. I wouldn't try to figure out who it was as far as a name or a year. I just processed it and let it go. So what we're calling reincarnation, everything's a tool. And if it can be brought to you for your healing, to help heal your mind, it'll get used. So whatever comes to you, no, it's not real, but it's a tool to help you heal. So we can be very flexible with all of it.
Absolutely, and that's just it. That's a reminder again, everything is helpful. It's all there for a reason, and we're not to judge it, but then just remembering at the same time what's real and what's not real. So and again, my nose is being, like, stroked, like, right here, so if you wanna practice seeing energy or whatever, like, right here, it's just my nose is just getting stroked. So, and then Timothy here said, "Those 3 comments were supposed to be all one comment about the shirt thing. It would let me do that, so I had to separate them." Oh, it wouldn't let you do
I
it, so
think I missed something
okay, so let's
about the shirt thing.
Okay, so let's go back up to the shirt stuff and see here. Okay, so he said that there was 3 comments. I'm wondering if okay, so the 3 comments that look closest to that would be I'm hoping I'm getting this right, Timothy. So the 3 comments close to that one would be, what happens with worlds that we make up in our heads when we write and create stories? Do they still exist?
Uh-huh.
And are you just tapped
Mhm.
into alternate realities when you create stories? And then he said, just for fun, I've created stories about a mysterious or magical phenomenon called the shirt phenomenon, causing shirts to ride up to under the chest. The person with it goes through it like a second, childhood and learning vulnerability. And then he said at the bottom here, the newest ones. So then he said those 3 comments were supposed to be all one about the shirt thing. It wouldn't let him, so he had to separate them. Then he said, speaking of the shirt story comment, he's done it for fun. They're not meant for shit stirring. So I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Shit stirring can be a good thing in the sense of like if somebody says something and the shit stirred within me and I can feel my self protectiveness, that's good because then the light is shining on what I use every single day to hold me back. And the ego will tell me, no, no, this keeps you safe, but the ego always lies. So I guess maybe a positive not even that we're capable of labeling something shit stirring and something else not shit stirring, meaning breaks down. But yeah, everything's helpful. Everything's good.
Absolutely, and that's just it. It's not that I was sitting here saying you're purposely being a shit disturber. That's if it came across that way, I apologize. That wasn't my intention. What I was saying, it was just surfacing that whole topic of how because like Julie's expressing like with me too, it did surface a tension inside myself because I was thinking of that happening to me and like that would be like I said that would be a huge like that's a huge thing for me of not exposing my stomach. Like I'm highly insecure about my body. This is a strong illusion that I'm like not that illusion is actually strong, it's very weak and it's non-existent, but within illusion, it's a very strong illusion I'm clinging to. So it did surface these tension thoughts and feelings over it. And like Julie said too, it's not again when I'm talking about we're not here to be shit disturbers, it's not that I'm judging it. Like Julie pointed out again, there is no wrong or no bad, and we're not to judge. Everything is helpful. It's just there is that aspect there that because again, we are playing with the illusion, even though it's not real, I'm still playing with the illusion of attack and hurt and pain and whatnot. And so I wouldn't want to just go up to somebody random and just tell them, guess what? You're not real. This isn't real. Like, you can just go do whatever you want. Like, I'm in the illusion that the wrong person would take that too literally and be like, well, then, you know what? I can just go off and I can just, I'm not going to name specifics, but they could I'd be really violent or really hurtful, or, and I'm not saying that's you. It's just this stuff surfaced with what you brought up. And so there's just these reminders there with that. So, um, but yeah, but with that being said, this is a dream, a story we're making up, and we are to be playful with it. And, like, there is something to be said about, like, kind of experimenting around with things with that being said, like I said, with myself, I'll use I language. I wanna make sure that I'm doing it in ways that I know that wouldn't cause tension in, quote, unquote, "other people," because it is all me, and whatever I'm saying or doing to an other, I'm doing to myself, So, again, it's not saying that you're doing anything wrong or bad, or you're doing things to be a shit disturber. That wasn't it. Just that was helpful in bringing up, like, surfacing this topic and talking about these reminders. So, um and then, Karin here says, Chantel speaking about shirt. I think I've got something from Spirit. You got to watch the scene, 15 seconds from The Simpsons. Amazing synchronous. All right. Well, I'll look at that after because obviously I can't do that right now, but that's really cool that you got a synchronicity, which, again, sorry, they're just, okay. It's upstairs again. They're making, anyway, synchronicities also, again, those are just, they happen more and more, and they're signs and signals and whatnot that we give to ourselves that just, confirm that we're in the flow and we're allowing more of what's real and just that we're one mind. And so I find synchronicities really cool. So that's interesting. Thank you for that. And then I'll share that with you too, Julie, when he sends it to me after. I'll send it
Yeah.
to you too, and then you can see what he's talking about. So that's really cool. But yeah, no, sorry. I just, again, now maybe this is something that we should address right now because it is getting to me. So again, they're making noise upstairs, and I can feel the anger inside myself surfacing, and it's getting stronger, and I'm like, not snap, but I wanna start getting angry towards Spirit and going, "Are you," like, I wanna say, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, and this can be a good example to do right now, to do, like, a work through on this, or, like, talk about, like, because I am struggling with, and see, I wanna go, "You motherfuckers." 'Cause I said, for anyone who, like, for those of you watching, I expressed to Julie, "They're hammering, are you kidding?" It has been silent for a goddamn fucking week. I thought they were done, oh my god, unless they're moving in today, but even then, everything is closed down. The roads are bad apparently, like, literally, school buses and schools all closed down because of, oh my god. I expressed to
Sorry, I was
Julie.
reading Harin's thing.
Oh, okay. Harn said, Homer gets ripped up by a badger. He gets into a fight with it, and he lifts his shirt to hilariously reveal organs, but his shirt is completely untouched. He says, "How did that happen?" Homer says, "I don't know. I'm not a child." That's funny. That is kind of funny. That's funny that we're talking about lifting up the shirt and everything. That's funny. Thank you for sharing that. But yeah, you can send the clip to me as well too, and I can look at it. Excuse me. So I wanna lose it. I wanna get it. Dude, I want see, and then because I expressed to Julie, I was like, "I am not going to be a guinea pig. We are not talking about this live because I'm not gonna let you guys do this to me and then use it as a lesson for people who are watching. Like, fuck you guys." Like, I am not a happy camper right now. I'm smiling, but this is not a genuinely happy smile. I'm really not. Like, okay, so like I said, so now I'm at a point where I'm glad that you guys can't hear it, so that makes me happy, but I can hear it and it's driving me crazy. So it's especially because like I said, it's been quiet literally all week. I've had 2 weeks straight of really loud construction renovations going upstairs. It's been very, like, the last time they did work was literally a week ago today. So it was Monday last week was the last time they did work. And it was really quiet. It was actually up on the top floor, not the floor they're working on right now. And then, like I said, all the schools are shut down, all the buses are closed. There's a bunch of restaurants that have closed and they're closing early today because the roads and everything. It's sunny out. It hasn't actively been snowing, but I guess everything from last night and yesterday fucked the roads up. And then the signals and the Uh,
Apologies for interrupting. My earbuds get to the point where people start breaking up, and the only way I found to fix it is to leave and come back. So I'm gonna do that. So I'll disappear and reappear, and you
okay.
just go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. See you
Okay,
soon.
thanks.
You're welcome. Um, and I'm hoping that'll work out. That'll just pop in that she can just add back in. If not, I'm assuming she'll call me and we'll figure it out and then I'll probably end it. But it's driving me crazy because like there has been nothing. It's been silent all week. All week. And oh, here we go. I just added her back, so we'll see. It better work. I said add. I did say add. Why is she not popping up? Oh, add. Oh, there we go. Yay. It wasn't working for a second. And actually, it's funny because I was starting to hear myself echo back. So, which is why I was hesitating. Like I was struggling to
Ah,
speak.
yeah.
So that worked. So I can't hear myself anymore. Um, so yeah, it's just it's really I'm in a space right now where it's really difficult for me to accept that I'm making this up because everything was showing me that today was gonna be good for noise, like, are you kidding me? It has been silent all week, and then now they're doing this? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I want to I'm angry. I'm not happy about it. And I definitely want to be blaming spirit for this because I'm like, there is no like, and how dare they? How dare they signal for us to do this today and it be silent all week? And then I go live and now they're doing this. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, and it just makes me just want to be like, I'm not doing this again if this is what's going to happen. So I struggle with this stuff too. And I'm in a struggle with it at the moment and I am resisting. So I just, but I think I know it's good to oh, see, but now I'm going, no, fuck you guys. I said I wasn't going to do this. I'm not going to be the
You
guinea
did.
pig.
It's like,
I'm being the fucking guinea pig. Fuck you guys. Because we're using my upset as reminders and lessons for everyone watching this. Like, oh my God. I said I wasn't going to do this. So I'm going to try and shut up here and actually listen to what Julie's saying instead of just stewing in my anger because I want to just stew in my anger. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna was that oh it was Simpsons. I was like, did he mention never mind. I was just thinking that he maybe said Family Guy and it was funny that I said Stew because Dewey, but no, it was Simpsons. Anyway, so I'm not a happy camper right now with this, so I'm just gonna let Julie say what you feel like you should be saying right now. I'm sorry. Oh my God, are you kidding
that's
me?
okay. So there's the anger, right? That's the feeling. That's good. You know what the feeling is. And the feeling is caused by believing a thought from ego. It seems to be caused by what's going on above you. And by the way, I don't hear any of that stuff. I'm getting the impression that the people in the live can't hear it either.
Yeah,
Uh, or maybe not to a great extent. So just know it's not bothering us. It's not disturbing your audience. Um,
thank you.
so the feeling is caused by believing a thought, and we're making this up. I have done this thing, and it is this I can undo. That doesn't mean we're supposed to insist I should be able to make the sound go away right now. But what I do have the ability to do is sink into peace. And even within that sound, at the core of that, what we think is the sound, there's peace. There's nothing but peace. Or in the core of that being upstairs above you, or multiple beings, there's peace. And the peace and the sound is joined to the peace and the beings is joined to the peace in you. Your peace, you might have forgotten, but your peace, your light, your love. And you're giving yourself an experience of something specific. And that's all that's happening. And the experience is built out of thoughts. And that's all that's happening. And when we try to judge, to attach meaning and value and judgment to any of these separate things, we're like completely out of our minds, just completely crazy. But if we can take any situation and dedicate it to, um, I'm taking this situation and I'm dedicating it to truth and sanity. Like, I know nothing about this situation. I don't have the capacity to judge it. Even if my ego is going crazy, sending me all these judgment thoughts, they're all meaningless and valueless. I don't have the capacity to judge. the situation, but it can be used for the healing of everybody. And so let this be used not as an obstacle to peace. This language is from A Course in Miracles, but to facilitate the coming of peace. Let me experience the peace that I am, the peace that unites everything. So, okay, we reoriented for just a moment. You might have been aware of what you are with everyone and everything for just a moment, and that moment was worth it. And then if you feel bad again, you can reorient again and again and again and again. And then we bring that thing we all share forward in our experience.
Thank you. And it's like I was saying before, like when we were on the call before we went live, I know what you're saying is true. And I know it's important. And when I'm in a better head and heart space, I'm really good at working on and anchoring onto these things.
Mhm.
And I know it's important to do it in these moments too, but this is where I really struggle with it because I am in this, I don't even want to say the illusion. I want to say this is, but again, I know why it's important to not indulge in it like it's real, but like, I want to say this is happening to me and that spirit has every ability. Like, because I'm also getting the feel like this hit of like, well, you're being able to be on the phone and talk through all the noise right now. But then like, well, no, because like I could be asleep. Like, not that I could be, like, I'd rather be live with you, but during peace and quiet. But I'm like, with the noise, I'm like, well, I can sleep through the noise. I just put my thunderstorm on, my earplugs in, and I put my fans on, and I'd be asleep through this. But, and I wanted to do live and quiet, not through the noise. So for me, it's not, I'm still not looking at it how it's helpful. I'm looking at it as how this isn't how I wanted it
Mhm.
to go. And I'm also struggling to admit that that's an ego want, which is why I'm upset because I'm expecting something and the ego is going to be upset that it's not, like I know technically the noise shouldn't bug me, but that's where it's this whole thing of it's been quiet, literally, like there has been nothing all week. And the one day we go live, this kicks in again. Are you fucking kidding me? And it's hard not to see that it's me. It's hard to see that it's me doing it because I've been in a space where, like I've been doing my work on myself and I wasn't, I even like handed this stuff off to spirit and like, I got the signal from spirit saying, just tell us what you want and we'll give it to you. And I told him I just wanted peace and quiet and I didn't get it, like oh, thank you, Billy. It
Thanks,
was nice
Billy.
to see you. Thank you for
Bye. Thanks
joining
for
us. Yes, and we'll
stopping
definitely,
by.
yeah, thank you for passing by, and we'll go live again. So I'm looking forward to that too. But yeah, it's really difficult for me in moments like this to accept that it's me making this up, especially when everything was showing me that it was going to work out this one way and it was going to be okay. And I know technically everything is okay. Like you said, you guys aren't hearing it. The only one that it's bugging is me, but it's still it's the fact that it's like, why, like, serious today, the one day I go live, like I struggle with making videos or going live and I was so looking forward to this and now I've got hammering above my head. Are you fucking kidding? So it is difficult. So that's why, like, and now you can hear tugging. I think you meant banging. View message. Hang on. Pounding. I'll show that.
You
Thank
might be
you.
hearing it in my house because there's somebody walking right above my head in my house.
Oh, really? That's funny because I'm not hearing anything on your end, so that's kind of funny. Um, that's hilarious. So maybe it's on your end too. So, and that's so they said here, so oh my God, I'm just need to go. There we go. So he goes, Haran says, imagine the characters upstairs are characters from Sesame Street. That's funny because Sesame Street's been actually surfaced for me lately, so that's kind of funny that you said that. And then Billy says, bless her heart, noise control. I know blessing, give blessings, everyone. We're all love. See everyone as they are. Thank you. Haran, that should make you laugh and be more connected with laughter and truth. I know I'm just finding it hard to actually find it funny right now because I'm very much in the space of I'm being fucked with, even though I know that's not true. Haran, think of the people upstairs as Cookie Monster, Winnie the Pooh. That's actually really funny that he said that because I've been having that surface again lately where I've been advised through, I can't remember if it was you or through an old friend where they're like, when you hear noise upstairs, like visualize and see it as like Eric and Robin walking around and making noise. And
Oh, yeah.
So, and I had that surface. So it's funny that he said that. And again, like I said, Sesame Street's been surfaced, and even Winnie the Pooh. I was hyper focused on Winnie the Pooh briefly, like last night or this morning. So it's kind of funny that he's saying that. He goes, because they are
Mhm.
one, and then he's seeing a blue orb float. I know you guys are right. We're one. I know. I'm saying it begrudgingly, but I do appreciate getting the reminder. I know they're important. And then Timothy asked if you have a YouTube. Yes, she does. And I didn't think to, because I was kind of like in a rush. I didn't think to put the link to her YouTube in the description of this. But when this goes to upload, like when it goes into after we're not live and it uploads, I'll make sure I put Julie's YouTube link in the description so you can check out her YouTube and subscribe to her if you wish. And then right, like Rabbit said, yes, she does. And then so Billy said she had to go, and then Harn said I can hear pounding. And then a message was retracted. So yeah, no, thank you. I know that these things are important. Okay, my foot just got tickled. I know. See, on one end, I naturally want to say I know, but then immediately I just want to go, fuck, you don't tickle me. I'm mad at you right now. So so with that being said, it's okay. It's okay to be angry, and it's okay to like a big part of this is it is important to embrace where we're at. Like resistance is futile. Like embrace where we're playing at. If you're feeling angry about something, or if you're feeling anxiety or sad or upset, let yourself feel it. It's important to feel it. You have to feel it as you let it go. But then it's important when you're ready to anchor back onto what's actually true. And as you guys can see, even with me, I resist this stuff. But I always really do try, like even inside myself, even right now, I still know, even if I'm even right now, it's a struggle to admit it. But even inside myself right now, I can still feel I'm making this up, and don't anchor onto bad things are happening to me because of all the reasons we've talked about throughout this live. Timoth said Eric from his channel, channeling Eric, said that ego isn't all bad. We actually need it. So he's correct in saying ego's not bad at all. Like there is no but ego's not bad. It's actually it's very helpful. It's doing its job perfectly as the tool we made it up to do, which is help us play pretend with the illusion of separation. So no, ego's not bad. And it is helpful, and we actually honor it. With that being said, we don't actually need the ego. The ego doesn't even actually exist. This is where, again, this is not coming from a place of judgment. This is just even what I've learned through my own journey through this. This is why it's important to, and I'm not saying this about anyone or anything specific. You can use this with who and what you need to, because I'm not trying to, with that being said, this is why it's really important what you're anchoring onto, regardless of who says it. It doesn't matter how many clients they have, how many subscribers they have, how world renowned they are, if they work for famous people. It doesn't matter, because they can still, even if they're the most world renowned medium, they can still channel ego, thinking it's spirit, and giving messages as spirit. Spirit, like I said earlier, spirit does not indulge in ego, illusion, shadow, false evidence appearing real like it's real. They may address things on certain in the level of illusion. The thing is, though, what I've come to learn is,
Maybe I froze for you guys. Tally
oh,
froze for me. Are you
there we
okay?
go. Yeah, sorry, that's actually really funny. Yeah, there was a disconnect there, because exactly, that's funny that there's a reason why that kicked in at that moment. I just all of a sudden I saw that. I guess I just must have disconnected from my Wi-Fi might have even gone out for, I don't know, but that was kind of funny. So essentially what I was just saying is, this is why it's important that it doesn't matter who's saying it, watch what it is that you're listening and anchoring onto, even when it comes to me. Even when it comes to me, if it's not a reflection of love and peace and oneness and unity and all that, it is not a reflection of truth. So spirit can still play around with illusion and help give us messages, and spirit might, like, you know we're not these characters, but with Harn, he saw, like, I got the visual of his cat and sunglasses, um, but that we're not these characters. But he came through as like energy, spirit, our true self came through as the form of Harn's cat and gave us that visual. So spirit can play with illusion and illusion tools. However, what spirit also does, so they might bring through, if someone asks something on a very zoomed down level, they might get an answer from spirit within the illusion answer. However, what I do know spirit does is along with that answer, they give out the zoomed out truth with it too, because they're not going to help us keep indulging in the illusion like it's real. They're going to help us remember what is actually real and allow that through. It's to help us through and out of illusion. So that's where ego filter is kicking in to say, we need ego. We believe we need ego, and we're allowing that ego filter to cover up what Eric's spirit, God, our true self, whoever, whatever label you want to give it, is actually saying. Because ego isn't real, and we never needed it. It's been helpful in the sense that we need it, as in it's been a helpful tool to help us play with the illusion of separation, and we need it in that sense. Sure, but do we need it with who we are and what's within this? No, it's just like I said, it's just a helpful tool to help us play with the illusion of separation, pain, attack, hurt. In the illusion, people say, well, ego keeps us safe. But now we're remembering there is nothing that we needed to be kept safe from. There's a balance. I'm not saying just because I know it's a dream and I technically have the ability to fly, I'm going to go jump off a 10-story building. No, I'm in the illusion. If I do, I'm going to splat on the ground and die. So I'm not going to do that. In that sense, the ego keeps us safe and it's helpful. But is it actually needed, particularly in the truth of what we are and where we actually truly are? No, no, it's not needed. It doesn't even, because that's just it doesn't even actually exist. But it's not, like I said, though, it's not bad. It's helpful and we honor it. There is no bad, there is no wrong. So yeah, you can go ahead. I'm sorry. I know I rambled and repeated myself a bit. I see, and I need to not apologize. I know. Sorry. Go ahead, Julie.
um, so I'm seeing a difference between the thoughts that come from ego that are always lies. And it's good to sit and recognize that and then reorient toward the thoughts that spirit can give us, because the thoughts that spirit sends to us will make what we're seeing and make our experiences and make our feelings. So we definitely want one more than the other. So although there's no separation, the idea of separation gets used to bring us through and out of what we made up. So the example here being thoughts from spirit versus thoughts from ego. So the thoughts from spirit are very easy to follow, effortless to follow. There's joy in it, and thoughts from ego are, we know how those feel. They can thoughts from ego can also feel very satisfying, but if you start to notice like where you think you're going to get some satisfaction, there's kind of a desperation and anxiety running through that isn't truly peaceful. So thoughts from ego can be deceptive. They can feel very happy, very high. But once you start to look at how do I feel? How do I feel? Since that's the only thing I'm capable of judging, how do I feel? You start to realize that the ego highs are also full of anxiety and kind of grasping and wanting and even uncertainty. So you don't want any of that either. And the thoughts that start to come from spirit are so beautiful and loving that you want to depend on those because those feel so stable and so kind and so generous to everyone. As far as the ego showing up in our experience, that is a tool. It's like a filter that the light can shine through. And even in A Course in Miracles, which I really appreciate as a guide in my journey, Jesus says, I will substitute for your ego if you wish. Yeah, why not? Like, yes, substitute for my ego because I don't know what's going on here. So, the more we realize our oneness with everyone, we can allow that oneness to come in and use whatever it is that we've made up here, including these false identities of ego. I'm separate from you, apparently. Use it to return us all home, to heal the mind we share.
Thank you, absolutely. And side note, and then to expand on what you just said, I just noticed the live time is at 5 minutes and 25 seconds. So I think it might have actually like stopped being live for a
Yeah,
moment. So
reset.
oh, it did reset. Okay, so I'll just when these
Mhm.
upload, like I'll just have like put part 1 and part 2. So, but
Okay.
it's so I got the urge as you were talking, I got the urge to just randomly like flip open to a random page. And this kind of it's actually funny. I feel like this is like I was supposed to because of what it says. And then I'd like to know what you're saying to this because it just feels like it kind of like reinforces kind of everything we've been talking about. So it's kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, I was meant to flip this open. So it says here, again, for anyone tuning in, it's the um Ram Dass Remember Be Here Now book. So I just happened to flip it open to this page, and it says here, drama is drama is drama is drama. Desire is drama. like we just talked about. So, ego, desire is drama, breathing is drama, thought is drama, emotions are drama, all form is drama. It's all part of the drama. I have no scruple of change. I have no scruple of change. We talked about change. There is no change. I have no scruple of change, no fear of death. I was never born. I was never incarnated. I have no fear of death. That isn't real. Nor had I parents. We're not these characters. We don't have these parents. It's all pretend role games. What does that mean? What it means is when you clear away all the underbrush, when you go back and back, not for the fun of it or for the powers involved, but to go back to be who you really are, who you are turns out to be spirit, turns out not to be matter at all. No matter, never mind. This is actually kind of funny. No matter, never mind. No mind, never matters. Either way, it works. So that's really
Rabbit
cool.
friend here was talking about Ram Dass, or thinking about Ram Dass too.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, and you were gonna run there you go.
Yeah.
See, so there was I was supposed to bring that up. That's really cool. Thank you for pointing that out because that for me is more confirmation that I was supposed to flip this open and read that. And it reinforces kind of like what you were just saying. My words aren't going to be the same, but essentially what you were just talking about, it's ego playing out, and it's not real, but it is all helpful. Like I said, it's all drama and it's not real. We're spirit, but it all works. It all works. It all works in our favor even if we can't in that moment see how, but does all work. So Tim has said, what do you think of the idea of resurrection? Like how the Bible talks about how Yeshua, Jesus, rose from the dead. It makes it seem like we'll be reunited and resurrected without physical bodies. So, and then Rabbit said, I totally was. That's funny. That's cool. Thank you. Um, so again, resurrection and Yeshua. So basically, um, all again, so all versions have played out. So there's versions where he just burst into light, and there's a version where he died on the cross, and there's a version where he wasn't even Yeshua. There's a version where he was female. There's a version where it didn't even happen in that way. Like it's all just a character role play reminder to help us remember that we are quote unquote Christ-like consciousness. We are God, we are love, we are source. And that's what the resurrection is. It's just a metaphor of letting go of what never was to allow what is, and that we have the ability to do that because that it's kind of like what I said earlier. That's the point of this, is to remember what we actually are and be and allow that through this illusion. So turn it from our own made up nightmare, which includes separation, limitation, lack of abundance, lack of joy, the up down, the opposition, into a dream of truth, which is the true limitlessness, power, and the true limitlessness and power that we truly are together as one under what we truly are under thy will. Um, so so that whole thing of resurrection, it's just a metaphorical way. It's just another way of saying ascension or awakening, allowing what's real, letting go of what isn't. You can even use the word death if you wanted to, because death is just a metaphor of letting go of what wasn't real to allow what is. And so that's all that it was. It seems like we will be reunited and resurrected without physical bodies, and that because that's just it. We're not these bodies, and we're not attached to them, and we're not even in them. We're imagining them. That's why I've had, like I talked about, ding. That's why I've had Eric. When I've been laying there and my body's been still, the avatar's been still, but my legs, he's been lifting my legs up and moving them around in the air, but my physical legs are still because he's helping me with. I know I'm not attached to the body, but it's that detachment from the body because we're not the body, and that is the point in this. I'm not saying I know how it looks and works. I'm still clinging to, I might still be in the illusion of grow old and go through the illusion of death. With that being said, I do know that the point of this is to remember that we're home now, and the limitlessness and the real power that's safe because it's equal and shared under thy will, allowing what we truly are, love, God, source, be that and allow that through. So that's for me, like that's kind of what I receive and what I know and what I've come to remember and learn when it comes to that. I feel like Julie, you're kind of like in agreement, but I also feel like you probably have a more zoomed
Mhm.
out or better way to say it.
Let's see what comes to mind. Yeah, like with Jesus, Yeshua, he's showing us there is no death. We've been pretending. So the entire body story, it is supposed to end in death. Like that's the point of everything here. Everything here is about death because what's the point of the story? You die at the end. You're a body and it dies. That's the whole story. And now comes the part where we learn how to transcend that story and understand that we limited ourselves buy that story. And it's okay because no one ever got hurt. Like you see the thing at the end of a film, no animals were harmed in the making of this film. Well, same with this. Like nobody was ever harmed, but we certainly have a deep belief in harm at this point. But all of this is going to be faced and all of this is going to be released. And then being reunited and resurrected without physical bodies, that's us now. We're
Yeah.
joined in mind. We're not physical bodies, but the experience and the perception of physical bodies, we won't throw that in the garbage. We'll use it to return us to the full awareness of where we are right now. United, very much alive, eternally joyful, eternally peaceful, without physical bodies. So that's what the physical bodies are going to get used for, to return us to the full awareness that we're not bodies. And I
Exactly.
actually have to go.
Okay, so if you don't mind, just let me just because I know there's something quick to share with that, and just to add on to that, absolutely, because all is with us always. Like, and I can feel that, and I'm allowing it more and more. So we're all here together right now, and I don't need the physical body to experience that. But it's playful while we utilize it. And again, really quick, I know you got to go, but really quick, just because I know I'm supposed to share this. Again, I got the urge to flip open to a page, and this is really funny what they had me flip open to. So it says here. Two things are required. Vergaya, I don't know how to say it. Vairagya. Don't know how to say that properly. So it says here, the falling away of worldliness, the return of this is so funny. The falling away of worldliness, the return of innocence. That means you're starting to have enough of all that you see, that everything you're going to experience through your senses and everything you're going to know through your thinking mind is not going to be enough, and worldly things begin to appear like dross instead of gold, just not totally. Oh wait, not in gold, not totally, not gold, just it doesn't matter. It begins to happen. It's falling away. My teacher said the veil falls away like the skin of a snake. The ego thinks like clouds until only a transparent layer remains. The other thing that's required is the pure seeking, the purity of the faith. There is as much faith in you here in us at this moment as anywhere in India. So it was just funny because we were talking about the letting go of the worldliness. So it begins to shed like a skin of a snake. The veil starts to become thinner and thinner and thinner until it doesn't exist because it never existed in the first place. So that was funny that they had me pop that open because there was that I could see the parallel and the alignment with what you were just saying there, Julie. So that was really cool. So thank you for that. So with that being said, like Julie just said, she needs to go, and we've been talking for like I think over 2 hours anyway, so it's been a long one. But first of all, thank all of you guys for joining us and asking all these questions. Like Juliet said earlier, you guys have helped the flow go through, and this was I like this, and I needed these reminders too. I'm still reeling a bit, and I'm still stewing in some of my anger, but I'm not where I was before we got started doing this, so that's good. And thank you, Julie, so much for this. I've been really looking forward to going live with you, so I'm glad we did. And this was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. So thank you, and yeah, I'm sure we'll go live again. I know I'll go live again at some point myself, but thank you, Rabbit, and blessings to you and everyone as well.
Yes.
Um, and I'm sure, like, I know I'll eventually go live again myself, but I would like to go live with you too. Again, no pressure, but if you're up for it at some point, I would love to go live with you again. And like I said, I'll put Julie's YouTube link in the description of these once I actually get around to uploading them and fix them up and stuff. So thank you, Julie. I really love you and I appreciate you so much. And that goes for everyone too. But thank you, Julie. I appreciate you. I love you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me, Tally. And
You're
yeah, I'm
very
sure we'll do this again.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm probably gonna, if you're okay with it, I'm probably gonna send you a text
Mhm.
after we hang up here. But other than that, thank you. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Timothy.
Rabbit, and thank you, Haran. Thank you. I know Assy. I think I don't know if Assy's still here, but thank you. I know Billy had to go. Thank you too, and thank you to anyone else who joined and tuned in while we were live and in any future now. If you tune into this after, thank you guys. And I appreciate you all. And thank you again, Julie. I love you. And I just realized I have no idea how to actually end this
Oh, well,
thing.
I don't know about you. I just have an X up at the top of mine, but yours
It,
might be more
it's funny
involved than
because I
mine.
just it's funny because I just noticed the X as you said that. So I'm like, I think it's
Oh,
just the
okay.
so all right. Thank you, Julie. We'll talk later and thank you guys all. And I need to say it as always, have a wonderful now. Love you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. I love you
Bye.
guys. Bye.